forgot to switch over. There we go. Into the picks and bans for Pro Draft. Maokai banned away. Thank the Lord we're not going to have that tree destroying the rift anymore. You are muted, my good sir. You've muted yourself, good sir.
I don't.
Welcome back. Hello, good to have you. Yes, Zik Gang Naruto. Let's go.
Time.
I saw you like hyped up in the webcam. It was awesome.
You saw no.
It was awesome.
Thing. I will not have this slander.
All right. Well, whatever.
The tree got banned.
The Mordekaiser got banned.
The Zillion done got banned.
The set is set down.
The set did don't sit down in the band.
Wait, I did the set already. You gotta do Tarek.
Oh. I was just repeating and adding hype to the set.
Well, the Tarek has been
fabulously
taken off the table. The Vladimir is banned away as well. I like the Anitech's Tarek.
Did indeed get added to the pool.
The Tarek was so scary from Anitech game number 1 that they banned it. Rising Dawn Sapphire, take it out. And Nidalee gets locked in as the first pick for Riot goes, woof, I don't jungle is a monstrosity on this champion. I cannot express how good he is. We've seen him play it so many times in different formations of this team before. I am so hyped. As the Graves also comes through for Quarantine Jungle, he just popped off in the early game, completely crushing Lord Reeves' soul. He had a family. He doesn't anymore after that game number 2. So junglers already selected. Top laners still allowed. We have Ornn, we have Aatrox, we have Aphelios, all these A champions, but it's Aphelios that gets locked in.
I'm actually pretty surprised at Nidalee. You're saying, obviously, I don't jungle does really well on it.
I gotta interrupt for just a moment. I'm sorry, Smartest. I'm sorry, Smartest, but we have just been raided by Upsurge Esports! Raid! I think we might have advertisements, but even if the advertisements get delayed, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much, Upsurge Esports, for that raid of 82 viewers. Oh my goodness. Look, we pretend to be as awesome as you guys are. Thank you so much for that. This is XLNC Esports. We are in our April Invitational tournaments. These teams have fought their way week to week to week, earning points to be able to make it into this prized Invitational tournament for the end of April. We've got a best of 1 finals. Riot goes woof, taking on Rising Dawn Sapphires. We're in Pro Draft right now, so we are only at the very beginning. You're tuning in at the right time as Riot goes wolf picks up the Varus, picks up the Thresh, picks up all the roots, the hooks, the flays, the chains, the death in the bottom lane. And with their Aphelios being grabbed by Rising Dawn Sapphire, they grab their bot lane as well. We got tops, we got mids, both gonna get banned in ban phase round 2.
Yeah, and coming back, full round circle, which again, welcome, blah, blah, blah. Look what you done to me, Jake. You started to say Aphelios, the Nidalee is super surprising because Nidalee is actually very hard to clear the jungle with right now. She suffers by eating so much damage from camp. So, it might be a pocket pick for Idol Jungle, like you're saying. It might be a legend on this champion. But we just saw what Quarantine Jungle is capable of on the Graves. So, looking like a pretty intense jungle game so far.
I like Zoe being banned against Sleepily. Again, mid laners and top laners are the target as we're into that second ban phase. Rumble team being taken off the table as well. Galio sectioned off. No mid laners joining the rest of the team. No mid laners slamming people. Sleepily, I believe, played that. Actually, I'm going to go back and double check this. That they played the Echo in game number 1, which made things incredibly spicy. Looking for those mid pops really quickly. It's Lemon. Thank you so much for that follow 2 minutes ago. We were chatting about your casting earlier today. I want to see you continue to grow, man. You are a great caster. Keep it up and just continue to push it to the limit. And NCT126, thank you so much for that follow as well, supporting XLNC Esports. Aatrox, the final ban. Set is gone, but Ornn is still available.
Ornn is available, but Ornn has sort of become, in my opinion, and a lot of other top laners' opinion, a little bit overrated in the current meta. There's a lot, and basically it happened when Riot buffed the Bork, and champions like I was just about to say it. The Camille has been coming up so much, but looks like that Camille might be a Gragas instead.
Thank you, Pro Draft, for always freaking out at least once a pick and ban draft. Camille equals Gragas, apparently. So, it's going to be Gragas. Well, they didn't have to say that it was top lane. The client, they're chatting about it and apparently spoiled that it's Gragas top. But
regardless, Camille's still coming up quite a bit. Like anyone who basically can build Bork has been coming up a ton. And we have the lane Tristana.
Nope,
which was actually Lissandra. So Camille is Gragas. Tristana is.
Why do we even use Pro Draft if it doesn't even work? That's my question. That's what I'm asking. Well, Lissandra's
I bet you one of these is actually Nico.
Oh, hey! I like it. I like it. Well, if Shaco appears, you know that it could be Shaco or his clone. So, there's some question there as well.
So that's Camille. Don't get confused now.
Word. This is why I was so confused in game number 2. It was just as bad.
Listen, it's simple. Camille is actually a different champion, while the Tristana is not really Tristana, but instead Lissandra, which you see next, and the Lissandra is actually Camille, which you see on the other side. What are you not getting, Jay?
These cosplays are way too good. That's all I'm saying. If this is a talent, I'm actually going to be thrilled. I'm waiting for them to say it's not, though. I'm waiting for someone to be like, hold on a moment, that's not a talent. That's actually Ivern. We wanted the tree, even in our game, even if Maokai got banned. So, it seems like they're all ready. This could be a talent.
It is a talent.
But we'll wait till we see it in the true picks and bans, the true official Riot client picks and bans before we go through that. But especially the early game, let's talk about the early picks and bans. Let's talk about the junglers, Nidalee and Graves, what their power points are, because Quarantine Jungle made Graves invading look just easy as pie. And not only does he go and steal a buff, but he also gets first blood, and then he just continues to destroy the Xin Zhao from there on.
More specifically, yes, Graves did a really good job rotating, but it was the combination of the jungle and mid laner moving together that was what was so powerful about this team. They always move together, right? Using the Realm Warp in the bot lane, diving top lane multiple times. It's really tough to play against that level of coordinated play. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to differ and I'm actually not as surprised as the Talon pick come in, but how they use the Graves Rise and coming into this game using the Graves Talon. Which, if you think about it, isn't actually so crazy, right? If they play together so much, having such a mobile mid laner makes total sense.
Yeah, it's not as mobile as the Realm Warp from that Rise, but it's still very strong. The Assassin's Path, hopping over walls, joining in fights, both in the jungle and in those lanes, and the ability to move around to Lissandra, who's also able to hop over walls with her claw, and find assassinations, which is key in a game in which, when you look at Rygo's Wolf, their entire lineup, you say, hey, do they have any tanks? The Thresh is the only one that might cause a problem. Otherwise, it's squishy Nidalee, squishy Lissandra, squishy but highly mobile Camille. So I like that choice to go. Go ahead.
Lissandra can be deceptively tanky because of that aftershock, right? It's the aftershock that really does it. But also picking Talon into Lissandra is pretty interesting. That's normally because Lissandra has historically been the assassin counter, right? You're able to lock down the assassin, prevent them from doing anything. This could very well be just Talon saying, I don't care about the lane. I'm never going to be here. You're going to see me the first 3 minutes of the game so I can hit level 3. And then we'll see each other 28 minutes in when I finally come back to this mid lane.
That could be very, very true. And it's definitely a lot of confidence from RDS after that last game, feeling really, really good, in which they pretty much dominated. There was a couple of glimmers and sparks from the side of Why Are You Dog, but in the end, it just wasn't nearly enough to shut this team down, and so they're feeling really good and really confident. But keep in mind, they've actually had time to relax and refresh a little bit, whereas Rygo's Wolf, they are just coming off of their victory playing against Omnicity, and so because they might be a tiny bit of either fatigued or incredibly warmed up. Only time will tell. Let's roll through the players and their champions, introduce them for our finals best of one. Rygo's Wolf has Spills in that top lane as Camille this time around. I don't jungle on the Nidalee in the jungle, Sleepily with Lysandra in the mid lane, Hims on that Varus looking to be once again the carry for Rygo's Wolf, and a tech on that Thresh in the bottom lane supportive role.
And once again on red side, we have Rising Dawn Sapphire. We have Kino in the top lane of Gragas, which is a pretty interesting pick I'm excited to talk about. Quarantine Jungle running it back on the Graves. Talon, the reason why Jake has elected to announce blue side once again and not red side is Zikyang Nandao on the Talon in the mid lane.
We said it in the client. That name is now forever known until I'm corrected as Zikyang Naruto. So, you know, just a little bit easier. Just say Naruto. It's close enough.
Zikyang Naruto. Well, he is playing Talon, to be fair. The man is a ninja.
It's true. It's true.
So, well, is he a ninja? He's an assassin. Is he? Because do you remember how Kennen actually had a ninja buff?
Bonjour on the
back to that in a quick
Aphelios.
second, but
And
Bonjour on Aphelios and Lil Muzi on Alistar.
Okay, so now to Talon and the Assassin is that he is a part of the House Dukuto, that Katarina is a part of as well. And they are not technically ninjas. They are assassins, but not technically ninjas. Ninjas are more like Akali and Kennen. They are simply true, BA assassins. So I wouldn't really count him as a ninja, but he does a lot of ninja-like moves. So maybe we'll see if he can spawn clones of himself and go running around the map turning into logs or something. We'll find out. Looking at the compositions as a whole, both teams electing to not run mega tanks this time. They want damage, they want to hit early, and they want to hit hard. Nidalee, Graves, Camille, Gragas, all of these champions are champions that can snowball incredibly well. They bring crowd control to fights, and they bring a ton of damage from level 2 effectively.
Yeah, and Camille is just a champion which she hurts a little bit, and then she just 100 zeros you after like 13 minutes into the game, and you're just like, what? Hello? But Gragas is able to interrupt her wall dash, which is where I'm interested to see who's going to win out on that mechanic, right? Is it going to be Gragas blowing up too early, letting Camille get the hook shot going, or vice versa? So, because theoretically, Gragas should be able to deal with Camille. It's the same logic as the reason why Gragas top does really well in the picks you wouldn't expect, like Jax or Darius, where it's like, wait, what? You should lose that lane, right? Well, no, actually, the stun duration of Gragas is so long that he's able to EQ you and walk away, and you can't catch him.
Indeed, and Graves and his aggression in that early game, quarantined, loving to invade, and spent some time in the top lane in game number 2. We'll see if that comes out, shutting that Camille down. Let's take a quick look at the bottom lane, because Hims' Varus is well known within the community for being incredibly strong, and paired with Anatech on this Thresh. Something to note, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, it felt like Anatech could not miss a death sentence. So I'm looking to see the Thresh land those Qs again and basically pick people up for the Varus to actually kill. But the concern, as always, is, look, it's Aphelios. He gets the right guns, he gets the right team fight, your entire team is gone when fighting for an objective.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, like, looking at these compositions, what an awesome Nidalee skin, though. Can we just take a second to appreciate that? How cool does that look? But
it's funny that it's Dawnbringer Nidalee being played against Rising Dawn Sapphire. I mean, look at the skin and think of the name.
Is this the innuendo? Is this the subtle hint at the
we're the better Dawn? Maybe.
The Dawnbringer to the Rising Dawn. These compositions just honestly boil down to better laners just win. Like, these are comps of skill, right? This isn't a lot of, we're designed to work this particular way and we're designed to work that particular way. There is some testament to that, but overall, whichever team ends up having the stronger laners are going to end up taking this game over, because they're incredibly volatile lanes. If Lysandra gets ahead, Talon can never do anything. If Camille gets ahead, Gragas can never do anything. Vice versa, the same thing applies. Gragas gets ahead, Camille's going to struggle until later on, and if Talon gets ahead, I mean, he's just going to take over the map. So, bot lane aside, soul laners are definitely the place to look at this game. That being said, you do have two very powerful AD carries, Aphelios and Varus in the bot lane. What I'm curious to see is which way Varus chooses to itemize. He does have lethal tempo, which means I'm expecting attack speed Varus, but he could opt for lethality into this fairly squishy composition he's up against.
Indeed. Well, now that Smartest has countered himself multiple times over in the same paragraph, which I love because there's so many question marks in this game number 3. We are here at the finals. This is the best, should be hopefully the best game of the entire night. And for me, what's most exciting is that it's because it's a best of 1, neither team can give up. They have to fight for every ounce of every moment in this game. There's no chance to make any mistakes. There's no chance for a comeback, next game. This is it. So every moment is going to count. Both junglers are going to start the top side of the map respectively. We'll see if Quarantine wants to do his invade that he did last game, or if he's going to take his time and grab his own jungle first.
I think he's going to have struggle to invade the same ways as the last game, because early on, Lysandra is going to have Prio and Talon, which makes invades a lot more dangerous, but you don't have that safety net of your mid laner being able to rotate first. So we honestly might just see a longer clear coming in from Graves here, who did start topside, along with Middle Lane, who doesn't really want to run into Graves early on, because Graves kind of scary.
Yep, he hurts so much, and he's got a lot of short cooldowns, so mobility with a quick draw, as well as that damage with the Q. It seems like Naito in that mid lane doing a good job of just keeping up some pressure, throwing out that rake to farm both minions and push Lysandra back towards her own turret. And again, as you said, he's only here to grab the farm and then look for roams.
It's interesting, this is a side note, it's interesting that you can't actually see the tactical sweep of Camille in Spectator. If you're in game playing against it, you see the radiuses. In Spectator, you don't.
That must just be on this skin, because normally I do see that.
Oh, okay.
I'll keep a look for the next time that she does it, but it might just be a Spectator error on this skin. Because, yeah, normally I do get that, that sight of how short it is.
Yep. So Varus did start Doron Shield as well, which means he's actually playing fairly respectful here, expecting to eat a lot of Aphelios autos. I actually would have expected it to be the other way around. When I said the way around, I would have expected him to take Dora, both of them to take Doron. Yeah, see, look at that. There was no indicator.
Yeah, not the first half. You get the second half as the sweep goes through the ground. Well, they still have that jump in hook shot from the Camille. Get a little bit of damage to Kino, but it is a Gragas. He has lots of sustain, and went the Biscuits as well. So a lot of healing from him, mostly just to sit and farm underneath that turret.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of good synergy on their team as well later on. Between the Aphelios and Alistar mainly. Talon's going to come to do a lot of video as well, but Alistar's going to be able to lock someone down. And if Aphelios is able to find the flamethrower ultimate, oh man, the damage on that is going to be nuts.
Yeah, should be huge, but we'll see if they can actually get to that point. Seems like an early pressure from RDS onto this Drake. They already grabbed the Scuttle Crab, so they can at least have vision as to whether or not Rygo's Wolf tries anything. Quarantine jungle around the corner of this mid lane, coming in with the blue buff. Seems like Sleepily, though, has been able to sniff this one out, as he's got that ward towards that bottom side river, playing on the top side, so being very, very safe.
Yeah, and like I said, Graves did look for a wake. Graves is actually looking mid lane here, but Lysandra's so hard to gank.
Lots of mobility.
Safe. Mobility and lockdown too, right? As an AOE rings stun. Like what are you gonna do against that? So good into the Graves in town, who are both Graves is basically melee.
Yeah,
incredibly close to you.
Sure, he's got a couple of skills that are ranged, but for the most part, he is going to be right up on top of you. Wants to get that body slam. The top lane seems like he's been able to take over that farm. Death Sentence in the bottom lane. Nice stun coming through from the Alistar, Little Moozy, but only going to stun up the Thresh, the good target for Rygo's Wolf, as long as Varus continues to poke out that damage. ADC's even in farm. Mid lane, Talon leading by just a little bit. Top lane, basically even as well. Camille picking up a little bit extra off of this farm that's crashing.
Yeah, and interesting to note that Varus is also elected to go for Cole, which really signals that they're looking to play late game. They're not interested in taking early on fights. They want to scale and look for their mid to late game spike of attack speed Varus with the Lissandra and Camille to back him up because they're going to do tons of damage, right? Lissandra, we're going to see rush Proto Belt and look to rotate down to the bot lane with Nidalee, look for some G's plays, and like we saw the last game, probably going to be looking to play around dragons quite a bit.
The thing that I love so most about this call from Hims is that think back to game number 1 in which, and most of the games if you've watched Hims play, he doesn't necessarily pop off as a big playmaking champion or big playmaking player. You wouldn't see a lot of his plays in highlight reels because he's just consistent and smooth with his positioning and damage, but he picks up so many kills. He had a 2,000 gold lead on literally everyone in the entire game number 1, at about the 20-minute mark. So he's incredibly good at farming cleanly and being able to pick up that last little bit of damage to grab those kills. He is going to get engaged upon, but has the Dark Passage to get out if necessary, and they still want to keep pushing forward, maybe get a little bit of chip damage onto this bottom first-tier turret.
I'm sure that play was a recallable moment for you. And there's that dragon. We were talking about the pressure early on, but instead it's actually Rising Dawn who elected to go for it first. But the second Thresh goes to ward, Varus gets engaged on, and Thresh is like, I left you for 3 seconds.
Why can't my ADC survive without me? I know that feeling very, very well.
But like I said, neither one really looking to go for a hard engage at this point. They're both just trying to farm up and get to their power spikes. And here's that Graves invade that we were giving a lot of testament to, already trying to steal away some of Nidalee's CS.
Yeah, and we also had that rotation you're talking about in game number 2, the jungle and mid laner duo synergy from RDS, both of them rotating down, looking to potentially make a play, but they did end up walking across a ward, so not going to be able to see any engage happen on the bottom side, which means that there's a little bit of pressure relieved for Rai. They can now clean this farm up, potentially get off another recall if they want. Varus already nearly halfway done with his very early call.
Yeah, which is actually pretty impressive, right? I mean, they're averaging very high CS per minute right now. Talon is actually at perfect CS, which is incredible. Gragas doing his best to survive against Camille. Oh, wait, the hard engage comes
Flash
in.
body slam, drops the ult as well. Talon is here. Camille has the potential to hook shot over the wall. Talon trying to chase in, though. He's going to have that assassin's path to continue to chase. Spills on the run, though. The rake tearing through. It's first blood to Nato with a nice gank top lane.
And like I said before, this is a mid laner that loves to roam. So I think what would have punished him more, while I agree with the Lissandra pick, I think Lissandra is really good at shutting down assassins, is someone who can actually push in mid and really punish you for ever leaving lane. Like, hey, you want to go leave? You want to gank top lane? Cool. You want to gank bot lane? Cool. Sorry, say goodbye to your 2 plates. You want to leave again? I'll take the tower.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, Sleepily not going to be as fast at pushing that mid lane, but potentially that late game ultimate can be lock somebody down and say, hey, look, Gragas, you want to make a play jumping in? That's fine. We'll just lock you and kill you. Or if Talon is trying to find the wrong target at the wrong time, Lissandra might be able to ult him too. We'll see how that all plays out. We are getting those ultimates starting to come through. Sleepily level 8, Nato as well. Ultimates for the ADCs in the bottom lane, as both supports have been a little bit slower to pick up those due to the roaming and trying to continue to control vision around this Drake.
What's also interesting is that Camille, despite having the advantage in top side as far as 1v1 damage goes, is never really freezing this lane, just consistently hard pushing, and I think that's really putting her in a tough position here. Look at this Alistar roam coming up as well.
Everyone joining together from RDS. They love to group, they love to fight. Seems like Rift Herald's gonna be reset. They actually have snuck their way in, catching out Kino. The Gragas was wandering his way down, not paying attention to the fact that there was the ward in that brush. Flay from the Thresh not going to land onto the Alistar, but ultimate from Varus should be able to lock them down. They are going to be able to walk away for the moment. Camille hopping forward, doesn't find a target. Leg sweep only going to slow Bonjour and RDS pull back safely in this mid lane.
Still a very good play by Rhaego's Wolf here. Or Rhaego's Wolf, sorry, but a kill picked up for Nidalee means that she's going to be able to start coming online. Lil Moosey ain't done yet. Okay, maybe he's done.
He is playing the Cow Alistar skin, which I absolutely love. So he's really, truly Little Moo. doozy. He's going to get hooked by the death sentence, but Talon's over the wall looking for the hymns. That Varus doesn't have that ultimate. He uses the heal, but he's already dead. Talon's auto attack will finish him off. Thresh now on the run, sleepily as well. Doesn't have much to say, flashing away, but I don't jungle. Coming from behind with the Nidalee. Picks up one, lands the spear, could go for the next one. Death sentence from Anatech will drop the Graves. Lissandra will drop, but she's got that passive going. Those bursts are coming through. I don't jungle on this Nidalee 3-0. Misses the spear. That's so unfortunate. Might have been trying to predict the Talon leaping to a minion. Has another spear to throw, but it's a little bit too short. And Naruto gets out alive, but it is 4-4-2, I believe, in the end between the two teams.
Would you say it was a Zytang?
Zikang Naruto.
Zikang! It's Zikang Naruto. Yeah, I gotta say it right, Jake. It's not Naruto. It's Zikang Naruto. But that was a really well executed play by Rego's Wolf. And what people always underestimate is just how much Lissandra passive actually does in team fights. If that starts like just ticking off, you get the 1, turns into 2, turns into 3. It does so much damage. But that's what I was saying. The Nidalee had the Sheen, came online, just did so much damage.
And now we'll see if Idle Jungle can carry a little bit further. Varus, you're dead in the bottom lane. Hims already knows that. Has no summoner spells. Trying to trade a 1v1 with Aphelios. Unfortunately, a little bit too short on that damage. Idle Jungle visiting the bot lane. Has the pounce, but going to be clearing out the minions instead. Should be Bonjour being able to recall back to base in time. Nope, just going to stick around underneath the turret, wait for the minions to crash.
What was that, Jake? I left you for 3 seconds.
Hey, you cannot abandon your ADCs. I know this feel. Your job is to ward, but your job is to babysit, but your job is to roam. Gosh darn it, supports have so many jobs.
Oh man, yeah, it leaves for 3 seconds, just trying to get some vision. What happens? AD carry dies. But again, Varus has that call, is not going for that super aggressive play, which might be coming out of Rising down here, but man, that 3-0 Talon, he walks up and you can't help but feel a little intimidated.
Yeah, he's starting to really snowball at least his own self, and he's taking a CS lead over this Lissandra. She's going to hop over the wall with the Blast Cone. The Alistar going to knock her backwards, but the Thresh is playing the front line. He's being able to hook in that Graves. Nidalee was stealing that Drake in the meantime, though. Nidalee goes down, but is there still enough damage as Camille comes into the back line with that TP, hopping on in, using Hextech ultimate, but it's only onto the Alistar. Anatech is here, but can the Thresh keep the Camille alive? She ends up being 1v4. Riptide was spawned in the bottom lane, but distracted by the minions, and so it ends up being a 4-for-1 just to get the Drake for Rye. One could say hashtag not worth.
Hashtag not worth.
Or hashtag not woof. Wait, that didn't work.
Woof, no. Hashtag meow. As the Talon was unfortunately able to get onto him right away, which I believe the exhaust came up basically as he died. So if he had that up and was able to exhaust Talon, might have been a different story. But 5-0 Talon looking pretty intimidating. So we saw his performance on Rise last game.
Naito, you're gonna have the opportunity to take your team in for a victory, but when you have a single champion that has so many kills on them, so much gold on them, if you check out the total gold, 6,000, he's in that 2,000 gold lead over most of the enemy team's opponents and his own team. It means that one bad play, one good hook from the Thresh, one good ultimate from the Camille could lock him down and take him out of a fight, and if you remove the big carry on the enemy team, in theory, the 5v4 should go in your favor.
And that's where champions like Lissandra and Varus start to get really, really scary. Is that if you are able to lock him down, if he dies instantly in a fight, what are you supposed to do against that team? If your Talon goes down, I mean, you have Aphelios, yes, but he's not going to be able to deal with the damage off of this team. Nidalee does so much damage too; she can't be underestimated.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot in this game that you don't want to underestimate. And I know that it's a game in which you want to be playing aggressively. You kind of feel, hey, let's do a little stat check here and see what we can get off of this. As a little cowbell comes from the bottom lane. Thank you for bringing some music to our game. But because of the damage that these champions can bring, you want a stat check, but it's incredibly dangerous because this is a best of one. One mistake could be that crucial key that gives the enemy team the snowball advantage that they then roll into a victory, and you don't want to be the person that does that.
Absolutely, as we do looks like the Alistar is rushing that Gargoyle. Don't play them. Camille trying to make some fancy
Yeah,
moves.
Spills hopping around the top lane, drops the Hexic ultimatum, but the rake coming through, ultimate as well from the Talon, just tears Camille off of the Rift.
Oh man, you hate to see it, but this guy Zik Gang Naruto is a monster when it comes to the roams. We saw him roam so effectively on Rise last game. That's why I was not at all surprised to see the talent pick come in. At this point, they need to have better shallow vision on the side of Drago as well. They need to see it coming in, not when it's already on top of you. As it's like trying to find the play on the Graves, but wait a second.
Whoop, the Alistar flashing in, knocking the Thresh backwards, and a tech in trouble. Goose Golden with a stopwatch, surviving for now. Aphelios throws out the ultimate. It's going to miss. The root is down from the Varus, trying to carry through. Camille is here. They've dropped the big frontline tank on the side of Rising Dawn Sapphire, but that is it. Little Muzi doing the job to protect the rest of the team, but still goes down, getting revenge for that Camille falling in the top lane.
There's still a good take, you know. We take those. One by one, you got to try and whittle your way back in. And as we do that board completed by Varus, who also did finish that call off. In fact, looks like he might even be going for that respect ninja tabby buy.
Well, they're not even down all that much. 1,000 gold at the 16-minute mark doesn't mean a ton, especially when almost all that gold is on the enemy team Talon. As long as you can play around him, avoid engaging in a big fight with him, you should be able to at least hold your own. And it seems like Rygo's Wolf is going to try to hold their own to contest this Rift Herald as Kino, on the top side, looking for a position, doesn't have the ultimate, doesn't have flash, but still should have some summoner spells. But here comes Nido, roaming in, was heading towards that bottom side in the map. There's no vision that he's sitting in this brush, but it seems like Rai, seeing him disappear, says, all right, let's go ahead and hit those recall buttons.
Yeah, they're looking to just reset, buy up on items.
I don't jungle, pounce over the wall. Anatek gave her that Dark Passage opportunity, but decided not to use it. And I like that splitting up from them, which basically forces Rising Dawn to have to choose between targets. So not as easy of an opportunity to jump onto someone.
Yeah, just looking at items here. Do you have those double sheens coming in from Camille, Nidalee, Trinity Force, and Lichbane? Approximately about 1,800 gold left on that. Camille actually closing on the Trinity Force pretty quick. Once Camille has a Triforce completed and starts going into the Ravenous Hydra, it's going to become a real split push threat, which is really what the side of Rhaego's Wolf is waiting on right now. They don't have that Camille threat in the side wave against Gragas yet, and they also have to worry about the fact that even if she does try and side lane, this Talon's going to rotate fairly quickly. Infernal now up on the map as the next objective.
Both teams.
Whichever team finds the pick first.
Yeah, it comes down to you want to grab the enemy team jungler if you can, or at least the enemy team champion before going for a big 5v5 fight. Graves is inside the pit as the spear will find the Infernal, and it'll start to deal some damage, actually dropping Graves down to about half health and really starting to chunk in. So not a bad Nidalee spear, but that means that Rising Dawn do have a small advantage here. They could try to finish it off. Nidalee did steal the Wind Drake before. Can she do it again? The flashing forward from Lysandra. She's dropping the ultimate, but Graves has already grabbed himself that Drake, and the Graves will fall. 4v4 fight. Hextech ultimatum onto the Aphelios. He throws out that ultimate. Camille will drop. Nobody's been able to take down Bonjwa just yet. Nice spear from I Don't Jungle, chasing around the silo. In the meantime, Varus finishing off the Talon as he was trying to take him down. Kino on the chase. I Don't Jungle giving up the chase onto the Aphelios, especially as that Alistar coming in with that CC. And there's Nidalee on the run, a little bit of a heal, throws out the spear, it's going to miss, smites the Gromp for a little extra health, pounces over the wall. I don't think she's going to get this recall off in time, so might just look for the execute, tries to go for the play onto the Gragas, but instead, CC Chain will be dropping her incredibly low, and finally picking up the kill, it's Kino.
Did a true cat jump. You know when you scare a cat and they jump up into the air? That's what it looked like a leopard form. And I also got the pulverize, so the headbutt pulverize combo off. But it was a good play by Alistar and Dragon, headbutting Nidalee away, so there was no chance of a Smite Steal even coming in. So they guaranteed themselves the Infernal. But what they need to start being more careful about is they're not at all focusing their firepower onto the Talon, which is what they really need to do. If you're not like, oh my god, he was there a second and then he just wasn't.
This is a true assassin style, right? Where you just 100 to 0 somebody. They might be able to pull the same thing off on Anna, take this the restaurant to about half health. But here comes that Talon, Nido finishing him off as well. Spills around the corner. I think they're going to let this Camille go. But it's a 2,000 gold lead for Rising Dawn, and they are really starting to take over this mid game.
And like I mentioned in the early game, Jake, it really just comes down to the solo laners. We're seeing the bot lanes have not much impact on this game so far, right? We got a 2-4-2 Varus, 1-1-4 Phelios. They're not the stars of the show. It is for the side of Rising Dawn, the top and mids who have proven that they might just be outclassing Rhaego's Wolf here.
Yeah. Now, there's still always hope that Hims on the ADC can find a way into this game and can, mid to late game, really bring the pain and the damage. They might have been able to catch out Gragas. Unfortunately, flayed out of that spear from the Nidalee, so Javelin Toss not going to land there. But as the game gets pinched tighter and tighter from the side of Rhaego's Wolf, it just means less objective control and less opportunity to find picks that they need to kind of come back into the game, giving gold to this Varus, who's only completed that Blade of the Ruined King.
And what it's going to come down to is how do you fight around neutral epic objectives, Dragon and Baron, or with vision, right? Do you control the vision to watch for the Talon flanks? Or are you able to, or do you fail to do so and just lose your 80 carry over and over and over again? Because like you're saying, if they need to be looking to play through him.
Root from Lissandra. Wait, she's been hard CC, forced to use that ultimate incredibly early, but here comes that Talon. Hey, Lissandra goes golden, surviving for a little bit longer. The Dark Passage not going to be able to get her out. Talon still finds the kill and uses the assassin path to hop over the wall. The Camille's going to chase, though. Graves is already gone. Camille and Talon in a bit of a 1v1. He can't on assassins outside the Hextech ultimatum. Lockdown, shutdown goes to Camille. Gragas will fall as well, and it's revenge and shutdown for the members of Rhaego's Wolf. They have been able to nearly catch back up in gold. Only about 1,500 separate the two teams.
Lissandra finally getting that Seeker's arm guard, but that was such a good play from the side of Rhaego's Wolf. A little bit of overzealous play coming out of Rising Dawn. It's the first time this game they've tried to make a play that was not guaranteed, more or less, where they had no vision of the other members on the side of Rey, but still went for the dive play there, and I think that's going to cost them here. Is that did get Camille online. She now is going to be backing here with 1,800 gold, enough for Tiamat. And going to start looking to build lifesteal up. Once that happens, it's going to be a lot harder for Kino to match her in the side lane.
Right, we were talking about how Sleepily, with that ultimate, might be able to lock down the Talon, but one of the other things that she can do is delay dying herself, especially with that Zhonya's that she's starting to build. She had the stopwatch before and could eventually be able to finish it off. It's delaying so long going down that multiple members of Rising Dawn Sapphire burn spells trying to finish her off, waiting for her to come out, sitting around, giving time for Rhaego's Wolves, rest of the team, to collapse. And then that crucial Hextech ultimatum from Spills, locking down that Talon. He's going to assassin's path over the wall. The Camille's in the chase, but she's going to run straight into 4. Gravitrum from the Aphelios will lock her down. The Thresh lands a death sentence, but I don't think Anatech wanted it. Tries to flash away, but unfortunately flashes straight into the wall. 3 members quickly picked up for RDS, and now they can jump onto the Infernal Drake.
And again, if this is a situation where Lissandra had a big lead on Talon, these are not the plays we'd be seeing. It wouldn't be possible for Talon to do that much damage that quickly this point in the game. 23 minutes in, Lissandra would have Zhonya's. She'd be the one being able to overgress. That would not have one-shot the Nidalee right there, who is now being forced to build into Zhonya's herself, having completed the Lichbane. I do want to point out that Varus did complete the Rage Blade, which is going to be really big for them to pressure Baron with if they ever get the opportunity to do so.
Little Moosey gets rooted. Might be going down here because the Varus, look at the damage. He's finally starting to stack through ultimate out from that Alistar, but not going to matter at all. Still gets taken down. You can see that Hims' damage is really starting to come online.
Yeah, and if he can stay alive in these fights, then sure. He did also buy the stopwatch. He's expecting Talon to just go for him in these team fights. So we'll see how much that plays out. Talon did elect to go Black Cleaver. Say that, listen, I get it. You guys are going to be worried about me. So I'm going to build something that will help not only me do more damage, but also my Graves and Aphelios.
and gives him extra health as well. So you can see that Nidalee Spear normally for the early portion of the game was chunking people by a third of their health bars. It knocked off about 300 from the Talons, and not all that effective.
Yeah, I think it sort of comes back to the shields and wasn't able to do anything there. And you know, like you mentioned, the game doesn't look like it's only a 2K gold difference at 25 minutes, and it feels almost like you're seeing like a 6 or 7,000 K gold difference in the advantage of Rising Dawn because of how aggressive they're able to play here. But they really aren't that far behind on the side of Ray, and that's really what they have to realize. The thing is, when you're in game, right? When you're in game and he's his talent, you just feel like you are down 8,000 gold. You feel like you are down such an incredible amount of gold, and that causes you to sometimes play a little bit too passive.
Which I want to give credit to Rygo's Wolf for not playing that passively. Sure, a little bit here and a little bit there, but they continue to try to get vision around this Baron. They've got a bunch of control wards. If we actually check that vision lineup, we can see that they've got this topside river very warded, but they didn't invest in going into the enemy team jungle because, again, they're playing a little bit safe. They know they're the team that has to, keep from making mistakes and avoid being killed off in rougher situations. And so they say, hey, let's just ward what we know we can cover and then back up from there. But that means that they have left alone this bottom side jungle as the next Drake, which will be giving soul point to RDS if they can pick it up, is up in about 2.5 minutes.
And man, Talon with Infernal Soul. A fed Talon with Infernal Soul. That is not something you want to play against. Honestly, even the Graves, right? That one-shot potential he's going to get from it. And this is the same build we saw from him last time, that Maw Rush. Right, like, it's good into this Nidalee and the Sandra who are pretty far ahead, and also the passive on it is super underrated. Getting that extra shield and the lifesteal you get out of it.
Yep. And that's really been a big point for RDS is their respect builds. Sure, they're not building pure 100% damage or pure 100% tank besides the Maokai in game number 2, but the ability to kind of cater their build to what the enemy team has, and even though they're the team that is in that lead, let's go ahead and build respectfully because there is still always that possibility that one team fight could turn a game.
Yeah, well, I guess this means we're going to elect to choose not to talk about the Blade of the Ruined King and Runon's.
No, that was just strategy from the Rise.
Okay. But I didn't read that part of this.
Okay, that's true. That was
a not seeing that
little BM.
We're not seeing that this game, though, right? It goes with the Black Cleaver, which is, for an assassin, the epitome of respect, right? When you put Black Cleaver on an assassin like Zeta Talon, it is because you are giving a lot of respect. Otherwise, you just go straight for Last Whisper.
Well, Talon's going straight in. Force Bills. Camille on the run.
Oh, man.
Yep, that's 100-0.
Even the 0 showed up late to work there. Don't know what the number was.
Camille tries to hook shot to hop out, but dies before she's able to do so. It's so scary to be a solo laner at this point, to try to push out these side lanes. Talon's gonna show up. He's incredibly fast. I like that. Didn't even go boost of mobility, went boost of swiftness, just to make sure that they always have that movement speed. Roaming around, Alistar trying to make the play out of jungle, but a great flash keeps Nidalee alive. Lysandra straight in, trying to lock down one, forced to ult herself to survive a little bit longer. Immediately goes golden as well. The fight is continuing because Camille is TPing in. Gragas goes golden for a moment. Camille Hextech ultimatum onto the Talon. No, it's not just yet. Camille's in trouble. She's gonna get knocked up and go down. Death sentence onto the Gragas, but there's not much the Thresh can do. Varus is trying to do what he can to finish a couple people off, but this health bar is just too low. This should be the ace for Rising Dawn Sapphire. They only lose one, the Gragas, and they are more than happy with that. They move to grab Dragon Soul and the mid lane second tier turret as well.
Lil Muzi does move to the dragon as well. I'm expecting this to be a Baron rotation. All right, I get it. I'll stop.
No, keep going. I like it.
Oh, okay. He's got the moves.
That's it?
No. Wait.
I'm waiting. Keep going.
The team's name is Rising Dawn. He he represents the moon.
Oh, with the Rising Dawn, the moon. Well,
moon.
this game is just like a movie. As Rising Dawn Sapphire are strongly in the lead. Camille holding the moat for the hook shot, waiting for Talon to hop over the wall. The spear's still gonna land from Italy, but can they chase it down? The flash from Spills, desperately wanting revenge, investing everything to take him down. They do get that huge shutdown. That is 700 gold to this Camille. So happy to be able to pick that up. And now the play, desperation from Rygo's Wolf around the Baron because they know they only have moments before this game is just going to be completely out of their hands. It's an Infernal Drake Soul to Rising Dawn Sapphire. Elder Drake up in 5 minutes. They're hoping to pick up this Baron.
Yeah, if they don't get this Baron, it might be a moot point.
I like it. I like it. Aphelios, Bonjwa coming in. He's
I
got the
thought it was
double
a steal.
buffs. Baron's been able to smite it away by the Nidalee, so they do have that. But now they actually have to survive this next fight. Infernal buff from Bonjwa, but he's going to lose the Infernum. Switches to Calibrum, poking down Hims and Sleepily, just barely able to make it out. 3 members survive with that Baron buff, but TPing in from the Gragas. He's looking to try to get around behind. Doesn't want them to get into the base. The Super Minions are pushing in, focusing down the Nexus turret #1, but there's a wave slowing them down. They're grabbing the red buff for a little bit of extra health. Blast Cone over the wall. Lissandra and the Varus are able to still survive, but Gragas and the Graves are pushing straight into the base. Unfortunately, Alistar's not going to stop those recalls. Talon able to find the Nidalee, shuts her down, and now onto the base for the defense from Rygo's Wolf. Able to hold for the moment as Super Minions are continuing to pour in through this mid lane.
Yeah, they got a lot of moolah out of that.
A lot of moolah as in money?
Moolah
I like
as in
it.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm smart. I got the puns.
That's
I'm
good.
funny. All right, looking here though. I mean, like honestly though, I mean they got the Baron, which is less of a oh yay we got a Baron, and it's more of a oh thank God they didn't get it, right? Like that's really the reason why you fought so hard to take the Baron. There was if they got Baron buff, then they obviously being the side of Rising Dawn Sapphire. What were you going to do? You don't have wave clear against Baron minions. They would have just ran your base, and you already have supers in the mid lane. I mean, it'd have been horrifically difficult to deal with. So this at least allows Rygo's Wolf to stall out the game a little bit, hoping to try and whittle their way back in. It's true that they have the champions that can deal with this composition late game. The problem is they're just struggling to get there. I mean, Talon's at full build, right? And Lissandra is still struggling to get the 4th item.
The Varus at 5 items if you count those boots, so he's getting closer to that point. Also 293 farm. Hims, as usual, still somehow finding a ton of gold in these fights, but I don't know that that's going to be enough. There's an Elder Drake up in 2.5 minutes, and Rygo's Wolf has to fight for it. Otherwise, you're talking about, hey, the game might be over with the Baron buff coming up and going to the side of Rising Dawn. Well, if they get the Elder Drake, it's going to be even more over. So, Elder plus Infernal buff is just way too much to handle. Literally with a nice spear into the brush. Notice that there's a couple members of Rising Dawn hanging out there waiting for someone to come walking over towards that dragon pit to try to get some vision.
Yeah, and like you said, if Rising Dawn does get the Elder here, man, oh man, does your chances of whittling your way back in this game go down to 0. So a fancy little sidestep there from Graves, avoiding the death sentence. And again, lock down the Talon. Tunnel vision the Talon. He's going to go for your 80 carry. Instead of playing so aggressively as Camille and Lissandra, play back. Play peel for Varus. That's the game you're going to be playing right now.
But it's hard to lock him down when he's got that Edge of Night, so he's going to avoid at least one of those summoner spells. And so not only do you have to burn that off of him, but then you have to be able to actually still lock him down.
Burned.
Taken down. Nice death sentence from Anatech. You able to hook that. Oh, Him's too short on that ultimate. Nidalee Spear still catching sight.
A big deal. But it's actually a fairly short cooldown. It's just a 3-second cooldown on Chain of Corruption, meaning that it's already back up in another 47 seconds. So it's not terrible for them. That's basically they would allow another wave. In fact, we will even see Talon recalling here to get what? A Pot of Wrath? I mean, he's already at full build, so I mean.
Well, top lane was pushing, so he's going to not only stop that from pushing into their own turret and potentially being a pressure point from RGW, but he can then split push that entire wave, pushing into the turret as well. But does give a brief moment of respite for Rai. They can step into their own jungle, drop a bunch of vision, and be able to at least have some vision that the Elder Drake is spawning up in about 30 seconds. Can they catch Quarantine? That would be massive if they can lock this Graves down. Unfortunately, he's going to be able to speed his way out of there, so no chance to actually catch him out. And Talon running from the top side of the map.
Oh, man, look at this. Look how fast he is.
Over. He's looking for Hims. The GA's up and available. They've got him. They got the death sentence. Talon is gone. They've taken him down. Hextech onto Gragas. They've locked him up for a moment. Spills goes golden. Death sentence from the Thresh is perfectly timed. Lissandra straight into the enemy team. She's got the ultimate. The corrupting chains from the Varus land. They're doing it. Raigo's Wolf are taking over the fight. Little Moosey's still alive. Literally goes underneath the turret. Uses the stopwatch to survive. Throwing out a couple more spears, but they don't need the kill. All they need is to grab these neutral objectives. They have to get the Elder Drake. In the meantime, Camille was able to finish off the Gragas, or the Graves, excuse me, so they can get the Elder Drake and pick up the buff for themselves. That was an insane hook by Anatech to potentially save the game.
Yeah, and there's that little bit of over-aggression, you know, we're saying that this is what you have to kind of watch out for. This Talon loves to go in. Baron now spawning in 20 seconds. They need to get recall timers. They should have recalled right there. They're going straight forward. For some reason, they might be trying to set up a death brush, which would be a very cheeky strategy. Lissandra does have TP, which is what they need to set up for.
Well,
what's going to happen, Jake?
They can feel a little bit confident trying to go for this Baron play because, well, it's going to be up here in just a moment. With that Elder Drake, they know that all they have to do is drop someone on the enemy team down to about a quarter health, and then the Elder Drake will do the rest of the work. So they should win a team fight with all their members. You can see the TPings coming in as well. Thresh is a little bit low on health and hasn't recalled, but they really don't need him here. Gragas tries to throw that ultimate over the wall as well as that Aphelios, but it's not going to actually kill anyone. Riot's still alive, but Talon's coming around from the side. The middle inhibitor has respawned, so they know that they at least don't have to deal with Superman's coming in. Goodbye to the Thresh. Talon's going to burst him down, so they at least have Baron off of one member. Assassin's Path from Talon going to be available to hop over the wall if they want to, but the pressure coming in now. The recall's coming out, trying to save precious seconds as they have to defend this middle inhibitor, and Dawn is going to push in 5v4. They should be able to grab this inhibitor with that turret from the Aphelios as well, just to make sure that it goes down with the Infernum Cannon on top of it all. But I would trade Baron for middle inhibitor any day of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially for the side of Raigo's Wolf here, because that global gold is going to help you out quite a bit trying to catch up. And actually, they have the gold lead now, right? I mean, that was the swing of the gold right there off of that Baron play. So we do have...
Oh, what is Camille doing? Spills actually gets saved by the Alistar, knocking her backwards. That could have been incredibly dangerous and a huge pick if they had taken down the top laner.
Yeah, I thought you were saying it was a wasted opportunity by Spills. I was like,
no.
I don't know if the Camille lives 1v3 there. I don't know. Sterak's on Camille, meaning she's super powerful now as well. Honestly, at this point, you know, normally you would want to run a 1-0-4 or something like that, saying, hey, let's put our Camille in a side lane. The problem is this Talon, where if you have Camille like splitting, this Talon is free to just hard engage, you know, 5v4 and not have to worry too much about the outcome of it because they're going to win through sheer numbers. So Camille has to play with the team here.
Yeah, she cannot split push anymore. Something as well to note is that there's several wards from Rising Dawn inside the enemy team base. One of them is going to get taken down, I think just timed out, and the rest are short to follow, but they do exist. So if there was that fight in the mid lane, you could have seen some potential TPs coming out from them to try to push the base in even faster. But I think those wards have now despawned, so a little bit of more breathing room for Riot, even though they really weren't aware of it. And Talon and Camille, I think they both know that each other's around the corner. There's the ward from Spills to catch sight and back away.
What's sad, though, is that Roy wasn't able to make advantage of their Elder at all. Right, so it's timed out, and they weren't able to actually execute a play off of it, which would have been the time to do it. I'm actually not entirely sure that Camille loses the 1v1 to Talon at this point. It is possible that Camille now wins that 1v1, which is actually very exciting for Ray goes Wolf, as we're going to see the push come in. And honestly, Rising Dawn at this point, I mean, they're purely looking for an opportunity to flank. What sucks for them, though, is at this point in the game, as you're pushing into their base, not going to be a lot of opportunities to find someone caught out.
Yeah, and we're kind of reset back to where we were about 6 minutes ago. Keep in mind, this is a 40-minute game. This game has been going on for a long time. We're reaching the point where all members are about to hit 6 items apiece, and so we've reset a little bit, and Rygo's Wolf has been giving themselves a little bit of breathing room. Can they catch out the Talon?
Ooh,
Just
taken out.
Yeah, Spell Shield taken off, but Elder up in a minute and a half. There are pings around the Baron, but Baron's not going to be up for another 2.5 minutes, so I'm not sure what they're doing.
And so they're trying to set up a Death Brush, hoping to pick up Talon as he looks for those alternate routes. But they're in a really awkward position here. They should all recall and look to start pushing together as a team towards the Elder Drake that you mentioned is now spawning in a minute 30. Items are really what are the name of the game at the moment. Camille sitting on 400, Lysandra on 1200. Lysandra's probably looking to get another 40 gold, and most likely going to opt for a Void Staff here. Although there's not a lot of defensive stats on the side of Rising Dawn. So.
Well, it's all about damage. Who can kill the other faster? That's the real question. I think only really that Thresh and Alistar have gone truly tanky. Everyone else is just picked based upon how much damage they can do with a little bit of defensiveness. Death Sentence from the Thresh and attack missing again. That was so crucial in being able to lock down the Talon last time they were able to win the fight. And we'll see if they can pull some miracle off to do it again. 40 seconds on the Elder Drake. This entire game is going to come to a pinnacle in just a moment.
Yeah, 73k gold on both teams. This is even. Gold-wise, this game is basically just even. So it could go either way.
But keep in mind, map-wise, there is an open inhibitor for the side of Riot. It's going to be up here in just a little bit, but it's not up yet. So no matter how the fight goes, super minions will still be walking down this lane. Actually, this is the last wave of super. Yeah, so the inhibitor's about to respawn. Good time there for Riot to take a deep breath, and they might actually try to push down mid lane instead of fighting for the Elder. No, okay, they're going to rotate in. Elder Drake is up, started by Aphelios.
And they burn this super fast, so Rango's Wolf has to be careful here. They have to watch out for the Talon and Graves flank. Varus has to be super careful how he positions this.
Talon coming around the side. There's no real good vision from Riot that he's around inside their jungle sleepily on the top side. Waiting for somebody to come in. Talon going to use a jump in. There's they go. They're starting the fight, but immediately Aphelios sectioned off sleepily, trying to do what he can with that ultimate, staying alive a little bit longer. Bonjai throwing out that ultimate. The Talon is gone. Nidalee taking him down. The Alistar's going to fall. Rygo's Wolf looks to be winning the fight. Bonjai is still alive, but finally gets taken down because Spills has the damage. You talked about the execution. Lysandra will survive as well. It is an ace for Rygo's Wolf, off of everyone pulling the trigger for Rising Dawn, leaving their backline completely exposed.
And it came down to the Varus with Exhaust, which is actually, like, Exhaust anti-carries is something I've been advocating for a very long time. And 2, the Turtle. Every game is winnable, ladies and gentlemen. When you play your solo queue games, remember this game, because they were down so much, but they managed to turn it around.
This is insane. One of the best 2020 games I have casted. 43-minute game. It could not have been closer. But in the end, the tiniest of mistakes, the tiniest of movements ends up giving the game to Rygo's Wolf. Not only did Anatech find the crucial Talon pick that gave the team the opportunity to pick up the first Elder, then they go to Baron, and that allows them to turtle and defend until their inhibitor pops back up and position for the next fight. And then in the next fight, you said it, the exhaust on Hims, immediately shutting down this Talon's damage. He could not find an assassination. He gets taken down, and the rest of the team, most importantly, sleepily, jumping straight into Bonjwa. I don't know if he meant to ult himself or meant to ult the Aphelios, but either way, it delays enough time that Bonjwa basically, with a huge Infernum ultimate, only hits the Lysandra, who survives it all and ends up dying in the end. So it's just an amazing, amazing game from both teams.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better myself. They were so. It really looked like Rising Dawn just had that game locked down. Quarantine Jungle was playing it so well. You know, Kino was keeping up in the top lane, winning 4-2 and 4. This mid lane was going nuts. But again, what does it always come down to? Your win conditions. They played, and Rhaego's Wolf said our win condition is late game. They even played early game this way because Varys bought Cole, right? Like he didn't go for crazy offensive items. He says, I'm just gonna farm it up. I am trying to get to the late game state of attack speed Varys. I don't care about early game. I don't care about mid game. Camille went, I don't care about early game. I don't care about mid game. They just turtled it out, stayed in the game long enough to get their items, and went for the turnaround play, and it was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, insane. So good. We are going to do a brief interview with Rhaego's Wolf here as the champions of the mid-April Invitational Tournament. But before we go, very quickly, if you had to pick an MVP for this game, because there's so much back and forth and so many players that were able to highlight amazing moments, who would you pick and why?
Oh, man. Oh, MVP for the winning team or overall, or what are we looking at here?
Let's do winning team, even though I'm curious what your overall would be.
Overall, I think, without a doubt, the talent was just a monster. But for the winning team, and this is really tough, right? Because on one hand, you just want to say, oh, Hims did a really good job. You know, the exhaust, staying alive in these fights, positioning as far away from talent as he could. At the same time, Sleepaway did such a good job locking people down in fights, you know, creating that zoning space as best they could. And I Don't Jungle, which is probably who I'm actually going to be giving the MVP to, much to the shock of everyone, is that I think the reason they were able to survive as long as they did was because of some of the plays I Don't Jungle was pulling out on the Nidalee, where the game could have snowballed harder and faster, but the dragon steal, for example, the aggression out of topside from her early on, yes, and ultimately Kino and it was able to come out on topside, but I'm just saying, Jungle did a good job this game. I doubted the Nidalee jungle. I doubted it. I said, you know what, I get this person's really good, but Nidalee's so far removed out of the meta. But I have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Rhaego's Wolf, the winner, the champions of our mid-April Invitational Tournament. Let's go over into the XLNC Discord, drop by, check out the victors and how they're doing, do a little bit of a post-game interview with them, and just see how they're feeling after that. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching. We're not over just yet. Stick around, maybe you'll learn something. Congratulations to you guys. Rhaego's Wolf, you are the victors of an incredible series of games, and most importantly, this game number 3. Down so much in the game, we actually, on the casting side of things, said, hey, you know what? This might be game. It's looking to be over, but man, you guys came back. How does it feel?
Pretty good.
Amazing.
You guys are not even laughing. Like, that's fine.
I wasn't even close.
Not even close. So, was there any point at which you guys felt that the game was over? That you were like, well, this is just a /FF go next, except there is never a go next in a best of 1?
I don't think so.
I don't
think
think
it was just
so.
people getting caught over and over
Yeah.
and not respecting talent. And then I think everyone, once we got on the same page of how much damage this guy does, like, I think after he was on our rafters and he killed Nidalee in front of like 3 people, I think everyone kind of woke up and stopped trolling. So, yeah, I think that was the turning point. And then, yeah, everyone played well.
So you stopped feeding yourselves on a silver platter to the enemy team.
That's a
Basically.
good way to put it. I like that. That's
The
good.
wake-up moment wasn't where Camille was bot lane and then she wasn't?
I like that one too.
Yeah, that was a wake up too. That was
What did they say? I don't know who your top laner is here, bro. When that play happened, what were columns?
It was literally, oh.
oh, okay. Just a bunch of
That's basically what happened on the broadcast too. Was we're like Talon making a play, hook shot from yep. Okay, that's what happens. All right, go ahead, smartest.
So, draft-wise, I mean, they obviously they last picked Talon on you, which I thought was weird because you'd already taken Lissandra, and normally wouldn't pick an assassin into Lissandra. What were you thinking? Was mid laner going? He's trolling. You know, like what were you guys thinking going into it?
I think what we thought was Okay. I think what we Lissandra right now. I mean, it's gonna be different next patch, but right now her early wave player is not that great.
Right.
So Talon's probably not that bad of a matchup into her because he can wave clear and just roam, like into enemy jungle or into other lanes.
But the idea that you can't, it's hard to play an assassin into Lissandra because you can lock him down super easily. Obviously, he positioned basically just tunneled your Varus every single fight, but which by the way, good job taking exhaust. I mean, not enough AD carries do it. Honestly, it's so underrated. It's so underrated. You see an assassin just.
Yeah, I think it's starting to come into meta though. So you're dreaming.
People are starting to
people are starting to take it a lot.
But no, I think the reason why this game was even like we had to come back because I did think that we could have easily won and then snowballed and ended it way earlier than this, but it was because I kind of trolled because I would throw ult to follow up engages, and honestly, if I just saved ulti, we would have won like 3 more early.
Who were you in the game?
The bar. I'm the bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Now,
there's a couple of those ults we saw kind of whiff or just be a little bit too short from actually hitting someone and starting the engage.
Yeah, towards the end of the game, there was that play where you threw it at the bot inhib tower and it missed, and that was really nerve-wracking because there was this long window of opportunity. Like, oh shoot, they don't have Varus ult anymore.
Oh, I was okay with it because it was gonna come up 20 seconds before Elder Dragon, so we just
right.
Yeah, I wasn't.
As far as like a hard engage or something like that, like they could have theoretically just hard engaged off of that.
I had GA and Exhaust. I wasn't too worried. Yeah, I wasn't too worried because I had the other tools available to me. So if we do get Graves there, then it's like over. So I was like, might as well go for it.
What about the call?
The call for the.
Did you just establish that I'm playing for late game, so I want Cole in lane? Or...
Yeah, no, kind of. We established that we didn't want to make too many big plays at bottom side, and we didn't want to just feed Talon random kills during laning phase. So that's why we were like, okay, we'll just farm it out in bot lane. Maybe. Oh, we established that we weren't gonna play for the first dragon, stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was gonna follow up with just a more general question of, you played all 3 games. You played obviously a lot throughout the month, but tell me overall in tonight's event how it felt competitive-wise, because obviously this game 3 came down to the wire and some incredibly close last-second fights for both teams. But competitive-wise, did you feel like the teams that you were playing up against were on your level, or that they were beneath you and you just didn't play your best to be able to shut the game down faster?
All pretty bad.
If I answer this question, it's gonna be I'm on a hiatus from competitive.
So question, if they took a different top laner, do you think it would have been harder for you? Because I don't know how I felt about the Gragas top. Didn't really feel that impactful.
The Gragas stopped me like in the first like 2 dragon fights I think we had, and like really like 100 to 0'd me.
Yeah, the Gragas
that shit was rough.
a really good disengage.
So what if it was more CC frontline, like a Malphite or Ornn or something? Do you feel like it would have been harder to execute?
Or a Maokai!
Well, they banned the Maokai. They were like, we're
no,
not dealing with that.
I know.
Yeah,
or do you think the Gragas was one of the better picks for them there?
I feel like it helped even out their damage a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were all attack damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, any last comments before we go? Because you guys, you played some incredible games, and you are definitely one of the top tier teams. And today, you are the champions in midweight of the testing grounds and the invitational tournament. So, any last comments that you want to say overall?
I got one. I got
Mr.
one.
Anything?
I got one. We made Rizal go 1-6.
There you go. Shut down Rye, and you feel really good
Don't
about
lie,
it.
you guys tunneled him a little bit that game. I watched that. They were playing
Flash showed in team, but
17 different
and I
things.
wanted him.
You saw it and went, him.
So basically what I'm hearing is pick an enemy, crush him, and you'll be strong enough to beat everyone else too.
Or the whole reason, like, I'm even playing with the team because Midlander was like, "Hey, go, it's right."
Well, and the funniest thing was that you guys did that in a game in which you were the team picked to play them. Like, they specifically said, hey, we want to play you as our game one, and they got shut down. So, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Look forward to seeing you guys play again in the future. I guess my last question I want to ask is there any team in midweight that you played against so far that you look forward to playing again? That you say, hey, that game was really good. I want to face you guys again because I don't think that you played at your best or we didn't play at our best. Just that you're looking forward to playing in future.
I'll play the first matchup again.
Yeah. I was on Rizal again.
Crush Glaive Umbra again. All right, well, we'll look forward to that future grudge match. Thank you so much for playing, and congratulations again on the championship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Smartest left. I was going to drag him to staff chat to join me in the staff chat, but that's all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the mid-invitational tournament. It was a blast. Smartest, you're back. Welcome. I was going to let you send us off for the evening. I did want to throw out one more time. If you guys haven't, give some love to Global Clan. They are the organization that sponsored both of these tournaments, yesterday's and today's. They sponsor tournaments and events ranging from $10 to $1,000, having teams in Warcraft 3, StarCraft, League of Legends. They're hoping to get involved in all sorts of stuff. If you haven't checked them out, you absolutely should. And they were amazing, amazing people to work with. Hope to work with them again in the future. But Smartest, it's been an incredible night. This game 3 was absolutely unbelievable. I know that at the beginning of the night, I didn't even think I was going to be casting. I wouldn't have missed this game 3 for the world. It was so good.
It left you wanting more.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. But it is super late. I do have work tomorrow. We have to call it quits. So if you would do us the honors of sending us out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday night. Make sure you stay hydrated. You know, at this time of COVID-19, still a threat out there. We are starting to slowly ease back in. You know, all these quarantines and whatnot. There are speaks of it in there. So make sure you keep yourself safe. Wear those masks if you have to go out. Stay hydrated. You are now free to touch that browser.
See you all for Valorant, 8 p.m. Thursday night, Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a good series of games. Check you all then. Enjoy Omega Esports League as we raid them, and have a great evening.
No.